exposing the cult in politics, the far left and far right. Cults often exhibit a few key characteristics: intense groupthink, unquestioning loyalty, and a clear us versus them mentality. These traits are not just confined to religious or social cults. They can be found in political movements too. Today, we'll explore how both the far left and far right use these cult-like tactics to maintain ideological purity. We'll dive into their aggressive methods to control members and punish dissenters. We'll wade through the quagmire of online echo chambers, dissect the language of demonization, and expose the chilling effect this has on healthy debate. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Let's start with how these groups establish control. It's not jackboots and midnight raids. Oh no, it's far more insidious. It's the constant drip feed of fear. The far right, they're masters at this. They paint a picture of a world under siege, overrun by immigrants, globalist elites, you name it. It's us versus them, constantly reinforcing the idea that any dissent is a betrayal. And the far left, they're not off the hook. Their weapon of choice, guilt and purity tests. They'll hold your opinions under a microscope, dissecting every word for any hint of deviation from the accepted dogma. Step out of line? You're not just wrong, you're a monster, complicit in all the world's evils. This constant barrage of fear and judgment, it creates an environment where questioning becomes unthinkable. Dissent isn't just discouraged, it's actively suppressed. So, what happens when you dare to question the narrative? Well, let's just say, pack your bags because you're about to get exiled to the island of heretics. The far right, they've got this down to an art. Remember the Tea Party? Moderate Republicans dared to suggest maybe, just maybe, shutting down the government wasn't the best idea. Suddenly they were re-nosed, traitors to the cause, bombarded with death threats. And the far left, they've got their own brand of excommunication. Remember when Bill Maher, a self-proclaimed liberal, criticized Islamic extremism? He was labeled Islamophobic, his career seemingly hanging by a thread. See, in these circles, nuance is the enemy. Disagree even slightly and you're lumped in with the opposition. It's intellectual laziness disguised as moral superiority. Chapter 3. The politics of alienation when compromise becomes a dirty word. Now, let's talk about the real-world consequences of this cultish behavior, the death of compromise. In the far-right's world, any attempt at bipartisanship is seen as weakness, a betrayal of their core values. They'd rather see the government grind to a halt than cede an inch of ideological ground. And the far left, they can be just as bad. Remember when Bernie Sanders supporters booed Hillary Clinton at the 2016 Democratic National Convention? They couldn't stomach the idea of supporting anyone other than their chosen one, even if it meant risking a Trump presidency. Both sides, so convinced of their own righteousness, they forget the art of negotiation, the very foundation of a functioning democracy. Chapter 4. The Great Exodus, when the fringe eats the center. This uncompromising approach comes at a cost, alienating moderate members. The Republican Party, once a big tent, is now struggling to appeal to anyone outside their shrinking base. Moderate Republicans, turned off by the extremism and conspiracy theories, are leaving the party in droves. And the Democrats? They're not immune either. Working-class voters, feeling unheard and unrepresented, are drifting away, disillusioned by the party's focus on identity politics over economic issues. Chapter 5. Toe the line or face the music, the price of disloyalty. Finally, let's talk about the ultimate punishment for stepping out of line. For the far right, it's often swift and brutal. Republican lawmakers who dared to impeach Trump, they face censure, death threats, and even calls for their expulsion from the party. The far left's methods are more subtle, but no less effective. They'll cancel you, launching online campaigns to destroy your reputation and silence your voice. It's a chilling reminder that in these echo chambers, loyalty is paramount, and dissent is met with swift and merciless retribution. Outro, breaking free from the echo chamber. Thank you for watching. Remember, Understanding these behaviors can help us foster a more inclusive and respectful political environment. It's time to reject the seductive simplicity of us versus them narratives and embrace the messy, complicated reality of our political landscape. Challenge your own biases, seek out diverse perspectives. And remember, it's okay to disagree. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Let's work together to build a world where critical thinking triumphs over blind allegiance. In this chapter, we will explore the various groups within both the far left and far right parties that are often silenced or marginalized by their own parties. These groups, despite having unique perspectives and valuable contributions, are frequently pushed aside in favor of a more unified, albeit less diverse, party narrative. Let's delve into the stories of these silenced voices and understand the dynamics at play. Imagine a progressive environmentalist within the far left whose calls for sustainable practices are overshadowed by louder voices demanding immediate economic reforms. Or consider a libertarian within the far right whose advocacy for personal freedoms is drowned out by more extreme positions on social issues. These individuals, and many others like them, find themselves sidelined in the pursuit of a cohesive but often monolithic party agenda. Their stories reveal a deeper truth about political movements. The quest for unity can sometimes come at the expense of diversity. By silencing these voices, parties may achieve short-term cohesion, but risk losing the richness of varied perspectives that can drive innovation and progress. So, how can we ensure these voices are heard? It begins with recognizing the value of dissent within our own circles, encouraging open dialogue, fostering environments where unconventional ideas are welcomed, and resisting the urge to conform to a singular narrative are crucial steps. As we navigate the complex landscape of modern politics, let's remember that true strength lies not in uniformity, but in the ability to embrace and integrate diverse viewpoints. By giving space to the silenced voices within, we can build more resilient and dynamic political movements. Pause 3S, outro, thank you for watching. Remember, understanding these behaviors can help us foster a more inclusive and respectful political environment. It's time to reject the seductive simplicity of us versus them narratives and embrace the messy, complicated reality of our political landscape. Challenge your own biases, seek out diverse perspectives, and remember, it's okay to disagree. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Let's work together to build a world where critical thinking triumphs over blind allegiance.